Hello. I got 5 on it, and I got 4, can't keep. It is I. You've got some interesting shadows here. The ring light shadows, so enjoy that. It is the first day of a new lockdown. You know that, I know that, or you might be watching this after that, in which case, who knows how far through you are. Well done. I just wanted to do a little bit on the anxiety you might be feeling facing this lockdown, just facing the world in general, and just wanted to give you a couple of coping mechanisms as somebody who's been through it with anxiety and depression. These are a few things I've learned in terms of coping with that, and also in terms of coping with the last lockdown. As that quote goes, you must remember you have survived 100% of your worst days so far. What's a few more? It always seems impossible until it is done. Nelson Mandela said that. He would know. He was locked up for 27 years. I hope that's right. Just most of my lifetime. So here are 5 things to hopefully help you as we enter into this next crazy period of our lives. Number 1, be kind to yourself. Give yourself a little bit of a break for whatever you're feeling today. It's valid, it's real, and you're allowed to feel it. Nobody knows what's coming next. No one's experienced anything like this before, bar the last lockdown. But I mean, it's always changing, it's always evolving, yet it feels like nothing's changing. We're not moving forward. It's like being locked in this weird snow globe that just isn't very nice to be in. But ultimately, aside from my crap metaphors, what it means is that there's no wrong or right when it comes to dealing with this. There just is. Accept what you're feeling, and that way, if it's uncomfortable, you can let it come so that you can start to let it go. But often when we try and push it down or keep it at bay or fight it, it lasts longer and we get more chewed up in our brain. Don't feel like you're not normal or like you can't cope. You're very normal right now. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. 2, routine. If you can, and it doesn't feel like too much, some kind of routine can help. The lack of routine is often the biggest killer, not knowing what's coming next. If you're not feeling too overwhelmed today, and you may be, if you are, that's fine. Skip this one, go to number 3. My advice would be start small, work your way up, even if it begins with just making your bed every day or going for a 10-minute walk every day. I think it's better to set achievable goals and add as you go than set yourself too many things and then feel like a failure. It's also important that you don't get into this mentality where you beat yourself up if you're not achieving things. Don't do that. Also, we all know it, even if we don't like it. I'm massively speaking to myself here. Exercise is great for us. But again, I've made mistakes before where I've gone too hell for leather in the beginning and I just can't keep it up. It's not sustainable. So even going for a short walk, stretching, dancing around your living room, any kind of movement, anything that gets you in your body is a good thing. Get involved with things that you can engage with, whether that's reading a book, watching something that makes you laugh, anything that evokes healthy reactions in you, makes you feel things, even if it is that you really want to have a big cry, you want to watch something cathartic so you can cry it all out, as long as you do it safely. I mean, don't take the absolute piss and start watching things that are triggering and send yourself into some oblivion. Part of your routine, if you can make one, limit your social media intake, limit how much news you watch, anything that gets you back into your body and connecting, meditation or just sitting with your thoughts and stillness, anything that keeps you connected to you is a good thing. Sometimes we do all the social media stuff to try and feel more connected, but it can make us feel less connected. If that's the case, get outside, feel a bit of nature, listen to a podcast. You're in a more comfortable place without all of that anxiety and worry that just builds and builds and builds if we fall down these rabbit holes of news and information that we don't want. Keep your brain active and engaged in things that benefit you, in things that bring you joy or educate you. 3, be honest with yourself ahead of time. What are your triggers? Sometimes we don't want to face negative things about us or triggers or discomfort. But if you can call those things ahead of time, if you know your toxic behaviors ahead of time, you can see yourself heading for the fall, and often you can catch yourself at least halfway, sometimes even at the bottom, but you know, you can put it back together quicker. What can you do to help prevent problems further down the line? Don't just pretend you've got this. You don't need to have this. We don't need to got this. It's a mad time. If you know that you numb yourself in a particular way that's not healthy, what's the best way you can do that in a way that's going to fuel your body and not make you feel bad about yourself afterwards? As long as you have acknowledged your behaviors and what might be healthy and what might not, and what's going to help in the long run, great. Like for me, sometimes I get stressed and yeah, I do want to just have a party in the house and dance around and drink loads. But sometimes if I'm in a bad place, that will not make me feel good the next day. So I have to make that decision. And I'm like, I want to escape now, but actually it's not worth it for how I'm going to feel tomorrow. And I start to have those conversations with myself now. And that's how I start to find balance, because then sometimes I go, okay, I'll have 2 drinks and then I'll stop. If you don't acknowledge your behaviors, there's no way of seeing potential problems, and therefore there's no way of saving them. You just have to be in the dark place, and that's not fun for anybody. If you are struggling and you are worried, reach out, tell people, tell your friends ahead of time, tell your loved ones, I'm scared about this. Get on the phone to the Samaritans, book in a therapy session, call your GP, do something, let somebody know that you're worried, that you're apprehensive, because sometimes, as they say, a problem shared is a problem halved. Sometimes just telling somebody how you're feeling can take such a weight off your shoulders. 4, you are the one thing you can control. I tell my friends this all the time, and it's such good advice, but it can be difficult to take it yourself. We don't know how long this pandemic's going to go on for. We don't know if it's going to end on December the 4th or if it's going to be extended. We don't know what next year looks like. We don't know what the end of this year looks like. We don't know what any of it looks like. So what is the point in trying to guess or in trying to comfort ourselves with, well, it'll be over by this date? Maybe it won't be. By the same token, there's no point in panicking ourselves like, this is going to go on forever. We don't know. That's the answer. All we have right now is now. That's all that's promised. That's all that exists. Time's a concept. December the 4th doesn't exist. Nobody can know. What we do know is that we have right now. So the best thing you can do for yourself right now is do one thing, even if it's tiny, that will make you feel a little bit better in the moment. Don't focus on what you can't fix. Don't focus on what you can't know. Focus on the things that you can change. What is something that you like during this period that you can still do? And do as much of it as humanly possible. If that stops feeling good, find the next thing. Keep it moving. The more we get caught up and we're like, I can't do this and it's too long, and we just get into that mindset. If you just cancel and continue on that and you're like, do you know what? I'm not in control of that. What can I do today to make me feel better? Even if that's lying in bed and watching Netflix, do it. 5. I got 5 on it. Step at a time. I think it's the most important one. Save the best till last. You do not have to see until the end of this year, until next year, into the end of the month. You don't have to see to the end of the day. You don't even have to see to the next hour. You can just look at the next minute, just a step at a time, as much as you can break off. Don't break off more than you can chew. What's the point? Your only job is to get through it a step at a time. Even the tiniest step closer to a place that's going to help you and make you feel better is a massive win. Just in this moment, keep bringing it back to now, as panicky, as anxious, as worried as you feel. As you sit here, even if I felt like my whole world was caving in and I'm depressed and I'm lost and I'm sobbing, if I bring it in and I'm sat here right now, I'm like, am I okay right now? Yeah, I'm sat here, I'm okay, I'm breathing, I'm within these 4 walls. If I was outside, I'd be outside, I'd have the grass beneath me. Find something you can see, smell. With Corona, maybe you can't do that. Touch, just get yourself present. Name 5 things you can see. Just keep bringing it back and keep thinking, am I okay as I sit here now? Regardless of everything that's going on, no matter how painful it is, I'm here, right? Okay. So focus on that. And then what's one little thing you can do that can help? Is it getting outside? Is it calling a friend? Is it breathing deeply? In for 8, hold for 8, out for 8, repeat. In for 8, hold for 8, out for 8, repeat. What is it? Just in that moment that can make you feel a little bit better, and do that. And that's all we have to do. We just keep it moving on that level. That's it. You don't need to do any more than that. Step at a time, step at a time, step at a time. You don't have to know where you're going. Just take the first step. A pigeon step. It can be half a pigeon step. It can be a quarter of a pigeon step. Whatever you need, just take a little step. Anywhere that gets you a little bit closer to something that feels better, do it. Even if that's like, I don't want to take a step, I'm cool here right now, I'm just gonna sit here, do not budge me, do not move me, I'm fine to stay there. Keep it still, keep it moving if it's bad, keep it still if it's great. And finally, last but not least, you are not alone. Even if you feel like it, you are not. There is always somebody there that cares, even if that is a stranger. Reach out to people. It's all we've got. We are all we've got. And in these crazy, uncertain, difficult times where everybody's struggling, all we can do is show a little bit of kindness. If you reach out to somebody and they reject you or they make you feel bad, don't take it personally. Everyone's going through shit. Just, you know, they've shown you who they are. Believe them. Take a step away. Head in a different direction. It's not about you. Don't let other people project their shit onto you. Just keep reaching out. Keep reaching out. And when you meet somebody with that level of empathy who understands, you'll feel better about it. Somebody's going through a time that you deem as way worse than you. Somebody's going through a time you deem as way better than you. Nobody knows. How we feel is relevant to us. It's relative, but it's relevant. And you're allowed to feel that, and you're not wrong for feeling that. Look after yourself and look after each other. You've got this. Even if you don't feel like you do, I promise you, you do. And this will end. There will be an end point. We don't know when, but all we can do is step at a time, keep it moving, look after ourselves.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We love you. Don't we?
Love you. Do you love me? From me and mine to you and yours, hold tight.
Bye-bye.